Boris Johnson is resisting growing pressure to scrap the easing of coronavirus restrictions over Christmas, but the government's advice surrounding travel could be strengthened. Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove will resume crisis talks over the plans for up to 3 households to mix between December the 23rd and 27th with leaders of the devolved administrations on Wednesday morning. A UK government source acknowledged the 4 UK nations may take differing approaches, but insisted there would be no change in the law for the festive freedoms in England. However, while it is unlikely that rules surrounding the mixing of households will change, people are expected to be urged to think carefully about travelling and to stay local where possible. The government's advice surrounding travel will be significantly strengthened in the coming days, according to the BBC. A source told the broadcaster that people are likely to be told the festive relaxation plans are limits, not targets, and that they should be cautious when forming household bubbles. Leaders are to continue discussions on strengthening warnings, including advising people to stay local and reconsider whether they should spend Christmas with the elderly and clinically vulnerable. Talks began on Tuesday after 2 leading medical journals warned that a lessening of restrictions would cost many lives, and the British Medical Association, BMA, echoed Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer in demanding an urgent rethink. They will resume as nearly 10.8 million more people begin living under the toughest restrictions when London and parts of Essex and Hertfordshire moved into Tier 3. With 61% of England's population now living under the strictest measures, ministers were due to formally review what tiers are appropriate for each area. After Mr Gove's first round of talks, a UK government source said, there are no plans to change the regulations in England. But the source added they are keen to maintain a UK-wide approach. Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon earlier argued there is a case for reducing the planned freedoms to combat a rise in infections and indicated she could break with the 4-nation approach. She told the Scottish Parliament, I do think there is a case for us looking at whether we tighten the flexibilities that were given any further, both in terms of duration and numbers of people meeting. In Wales, Mr Drakeford told the Scene the choice is a grim one, but said the current plans were a hard-won agreement that he would not put aside lightly. The meeting was held as the government said a further 506 people had died within 28 days of testing positive for COVID-19, bringing the UK total to 64,908. Another 18,450 infections were also confirmed in labs as of 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Sir Keir had urged the Prime Minister to call an emergency meeting of the government's top-level Cobra committee within 24 hours to assess the situation. In a letter to Mr Johnson, the Labour leader accused ministers of having lost control of infections and warned that the situation has clearly taken a turn for the worse since the decision about Christmas. If you conclude with government scientists that we need to take tougher action to keep people safe over Christmas, then you will have my support, Sir Keir said. Earlier, the British Medical Journal and Health Service Journal published a rare joint editorial calling for the rash decision to relax social distancing measures over the festive period to be scrapped. They said the Mr Johnson is about to blunder into another major error that will cost many lives. The government was too slow to introduce restrictions in the spring and again in the autumn, the joint editorial said. It should now reverse its rash decision to allow household mixing and instead extend the tiers over the 5-day Christmas period in order to bring numbers down in the advance of a likely third wave. The BMA backed the warning, saying the combination of a third wave in the new year and the typical winter pressures are a recipe for catastrophe. Council Chairman Chand Nagpal said, as well as reviewing the rules for Christmas, the government must also look at what happens when the tinsel is tided away. Now is the time for everyone to continue to follow the rules and guidance until the vaccine can be rolled out to protect many more of us and allow us to mix freely once more. The Prime Minister's official spokesman said ministers keep all advice under constant review in response to suggestions that Christmas arrangements could be restricted to 3 days or 2 households. Reducing the planned easing may further anger Tory backbenchers who oppose restrictions, but a poll suggested the majority of Britons believe the relaxation should be scrapped. The YouGov survey of 3,856 adults on Tuesday indicated that 57% believe the plans should be dropped and that current rules should remain in place during the festive period. Some 31% said the easing should go ahead as planned, while 12% said they were unsure.